Hi, I'm DJ Faeriegothmother slash the Foe, one of the volunteers here in the shop, and have some records. I picked this Ella Fitzgerald, just because she's kind of one of those people for me where you can put her on when you're driving or like cleaning the house, and it just always feels good. Just happy music for me, and I think it's one of those things where it's important to like kind of remember roots of pop music and recognize like where things come from a lot of the times in stuff that we listen to now. Um, yeah, this is great. Donovan. Um, so one of my best friends in high school actually introduced me to Donovan because her father was one of his friends in the '60s, and they used to hang out in Trafalgar Square in London, um, smoking weed and like randomly playing instruments for thousands of people that would show up. And it's funny to me to think about my friend's like Scottish father who um, was a delivery driver of pizza, being best friends with Donovan. Um, and his music, kind of just like Ella Fitzgerald for me, reminds me of like that earlier time in my life where things were a lot simpler. Um, Everyone kind of like psychedelic folk, in my opinion, or they should, because good times. Um, this Tim Hecker, Konoyo. Um, he's ambient guy. I think there's 4 tracks on this album, and it just kind of explores through um, different moods and settings, and it's good for like turning all the lights off in your bedroom. Maybe there's something on in the background in terms of lighting, but you're just like sitting there staring off into space and like deep going into the different feelings that he's kind of pushing forward in this album. Casual Burn, um, local band. I have friends with a couple of these people. They're all super great. This album is a lot of fun. I went to the album release show and picked up the album there and went home and listened to it afterwards. But I I just don't understand how they were able to capture the feeling of being at one of their shows. That last show, David did like a stave dive off of the thing with his guitar and like still playing it, and it's just really high energy. Feels like maybe it was a single take for each song, and it's really really great. Um, Another local band, Little Death. These are also a bunch of friends. They're super great. I think the first time I saw them was in Saint Rock Tavern in town here, and I just kind of associate this album with maybe going a little too hard one night in that kind of a setting, falling in and out of love with somebody in one night, pushing a little too much. I was thinking about a quote of a different album that Loretta Lynn said. I'm not going to say what album it was, but she said about that album that it sounds like they're robbing a bank and having the best time about it, and that kind of applies to this as well. Special interest, another local band. They're kind of the band in town where they're bringing together a whole bunch of different feelings and aesthetics in music. So like all out punk and like sweaty shit. There's Psychic Hotline in there doing beats, so like there's really great dance hit, but like behind everything. And then the lyrics from Ali are always politically motivated and poignant and like of the time and of a queer person's struggle or a queer person of color struggle. They have a new album out as well that's also really great, but This one. It's good. Hell is Here from Hyde. If you haven't had the chance to see them live, when shows start happening again, I really, really recommend it. They're a two-piece, and you can see in the way in their like live shows that they think a lot about the artistry behind it. Heather, the vocalist, is always decked out in something really great. They use very minimal lighting and fog and kind of transform how the space feels so that you can get really involved in the show. And this album reflects that as well. The shows are always reflective of what's happening right there in that time, but the album captures the same feeling. So it's like industrial heavy dance beats in a lot of the tracks. It feels as though it's like written from the perspective of not just a woman, but a sex working woman. So there's stories and hardships of like shit that those people kind of go through, which is poignant and important. It's really great. Another local band, Berlin Taxi. If you're really into synths, this one's really great. It goes from lighthearted and dancey to a little bit darker, not as dancey, very emotional, a lot of love songs. Again, good for kind of hanging out at the house or putting on for like a dance party at the house or wherever it might be, wherever you might be. And last album I picked was this Grime's album. I picked it because it kind of seems like a bit of a departure for her and what we know her as. We're used to like her happy-go-lucky pop stuff, videos that seem a little bit darker, but it's completely different from that. The album feels a little bit more gloomier. Tracks on it I don't feel like are things that you might hear on the radio these days. It's a little bit more mature, and she's just kind of clearly influenced by different things than what she was in the past. Grimes. Again, DJ Faeriegothmother. Thank you.